Okay, so I get this question a lot when teaching people how to do serviced accommodation. What is an HMO? What's the difference between an HMO and serviced accommodation? Can you let by the room to strangers in serviced accommodation? So I just thought I would show you two of my properties because it will just make it easier for me to explain. Okay, so I am currently in a large house SA. Now, this house used to be an HMO. What is an HMO? An HMO is where you rent to tenants by the room. The tenants aren't connected to each other, or can just be complete strangers, and they are just renting by the room, bills included, and there are some communal spaces that the tenants share. So this house I'm currently in used to be an HMO, but it's now a serviced accommodation house, and it no longer accommodates tenants, it accommodates guests. Now, guess what? I changed this HMO into serviced accommodation under permitted development, prior approval, permitted development. So you can do that. It didn't need me to speak to the local authority for planning permission because you can go from C4 to C3 under permitted development, C4 being HMO, C3 currently the most appropriate use class for serviced accommodation. Okay, now then, let me show you round just so I can show you the difference. Okay, so let me just flick this camera around here. So we're currently in the bathroom. So as you can see, it's nice. Now again, this is for guests. It's not for tenants. So the guests can stay and the same group arrive on one day and that same group leave on the same day. They don't have to be related to each other. They can be contractors and trades or whatever. Can be family groups, can be friends, but they all arrive on one day and they all leave on the same day. So effectively, it's furnished holiday let is what we're talking about. So this is a picture of one of the bedrooms. As you can see, it's nice. It's not anyone's home, so you don't need masses of storage. So these are quite useful for hanging. And yeah, you've got somewhere to put stuff. But remember, it's not a home, so that people don't need loads and loads of storage to store all of their things. Let's show you a different bedroom. Just flick this camera around. So again, these are fine for storage. And as you can see, it's nice. It's not cluttered. Doesn't need to be cluttered. It actually looks a lot better for photos when it's not cluttered. Okay, let's go downstairs then. So that was the top floor where there's a couple of bedrooms and a bathroom. And now we're going to go downstairs and got another bedroom here. So upstairs we had double beds, but we also got twin rooms. There's a single room here. Okay. Mirror, shaving socket. Okay. And then let's go into the lounge. And as you can see, it's got everything guests might need here. Seating, television, they can obviously have some food, etc. there. Now, so as I said, it's for the same group of people and they have got their own kitchen. Let me just flick around, I'll show you the kitchen. Okay, so it's a well-appointed kitchen and it's got everything that the guests may need for their stay. Little breakfast bar there, just in case. But everything that the guests might need for their particular stay. Hopefully that's empty, yeah. Cooking facilities, etc., etc. Just show you as well, on this floor is a little WC, which means that, let me just flip the camera back round. Means people don't need to change floors if they want to have a wee. Right, so that's the property. I'm going to leave this property now, so hopefully that makes sense how we are using that house. I've got to lock up as I go, so bear with me, team. Now then, cool, I'm on Wi-Fi and it's about to go off Wi-Fi. I just realised I'm doing a live and I'm walking out of a house on Wi-Fi, and we'll see how we get on, because it should hopefully jump to mobile, but I might lose signal for a bit. Oh well, we'll see how we get on. Right, let's lock that door. Door's locked. I need to put it in the key box. Trying to do it with one hand. Blimey. This is live, guys. Flick the dial on there. So let's show you that quick. What we always have, okay, this is what I was just doing, putting the keys back. We always have, take you on a journey, and hopefully it will then jump onto the normal signal. If not, if it kicks me off, normal phone signal. Hopefully not too much of a drama. We've gone on to mobile phone signal now. Right, as I was showing you there, two lock boxes at the property, one for guests, or key safes, whatever you want to call them, one for guests and one for team. The one for the team should stay. That code needs to just stay for the team, so your cleaners and trades and people like that, and obviously one for the guests. Worst case scenario, if your guests lose their key, you could, if it's inconvenient to have someone go to the property to give them a key or whatever, it could be a certain time of day or night, you could in an emergency give them the team code for the key safe in order to get a spare key, and then obviously you can just decide whether to change that. Now, whilst I'm explaining that, I'm literally just walking around the corner to my hotel. Now, the reason I'm doing this is to just explain the difference between a hotel and a large house serviced accommodation unit, because let me just show you the hotel now. Hold on, I'll go. So I'm opposite, because we've got scaffolding next door to our hotel. Okay, so let me just flip the camera around there. So that, we have literally just walked round the corner from a whole house SA that used to be an HMO, and that house is not an HMO anymore. I turned it into a service accommodation house that accommodates larger groups of people. Now, the reason why that's a cool thing to do is that we're able to get really nice bookings. I've got a booking coming up, I think it's about a 4-month booking coming up from a group of people, and it's going to save them a lot of money on a hotel, and it's going to make me thousands and thousands of profit per month on that house. And when it was an HMO, I was breaking even, right? Now, where people get it wrong when they've got a larger house, say 4-bed, 5-bed, 6-bed, is they try and let it out by the room to guests. And the problem with that is they're missing out on the really long bookings, because if you're just letting it out by the room to guests and they're turning up at different days of the week, etc., they don't know each other, they can fall out over the communal areas because they don't know each other. They've got different patterns of arrival and departure. And guess what else? The people who are doing that are also breaching planning, because what I just showed you was a hotel, which is a C1 commercial property where it is legal and you are allowed to let to guests by the room who don't know each other, etc. And also, by the way, this is, let me just flick the camera around again. That is an apartment hotel, which the guests have got their own cooking facilities in the room, so little kitchenettes in the room, and therefore no sharing communal areas, and we don't need to be doing bacon and eggs and breakfast and things like that for the guests. They've got a little kitchenette in the room, so that's got economies of scale there, because that property I've just showed you, our hotel, has got 16 studio rooms, and it used to be a guest house which had about 9 potential letting rooms, but then we convert the owner's accommodation and the lounge, the dining room, the kitchen into studios, and we've turned it into 16. So massive economies of scale. Now, on a property like that, I'm happy to let it out by the room to people that are unconnected to each other. Does that make sense? Not a large house, because the hotel is a C1 commercial property and we are allowed to do it by the room to strangers. So I just wanted to literally show the difference between an HMO, where you're letting it to tenants, a large house SA, yes, let it to guests, but guests who are in the same party, they are the same group, and then a hotel. Because actually, I've said this before, some people are actually teaching, I don't know, property, and they are not teaching it correctly when it comes to doing SA in a large house. I hear it all of the time. Other property trainers saying, oh yeah, well, you can let it out by the room, a large house to guests, and there's no problem with that. There is a problem with that. You're not going to make as much money because you won't get the really nice long chunky booking. You're just going to be letting it out to strangers, the odd night here, the odd night there, and you don't get a really big chunky booking from a large group of people. And your cleaning costs are too high, your turnover's too high, complaints from guests about other guests too high. And guess what? Also breaking the law in terms of breaching your planning conditions, and literally you're risking a big fine as well as not making as much money if you're getting the wrong advice from other property trainers. So when I'm teaching people how to do property, I'm teach all the different serviced accommodation strategies, and there's no one size fits all, right? So I've just shown you, I've still got HMOs, I've still you know, I don't want any more, but if I can, I'll turn them into whole house SA. But another question I got recently was actually a really large HMO. Can you turn that into service accommodation? Well, a really large HMO, you know, like licensed 7 bedrooms, or no, more than 5 even, is going to be sui generis. And that particular use class, you probably would need to speak to your local authority in order to get permission to change its use class from sui generis. So I thought I'd add that one into the mix as well. But yes, it's getting taught badly out there. I like to teach people how to do it correctly to keep you and your guests safe, by the way, because you obviously have to be compliant so that the guests are fully covered, insurance-wise, etc., etc. So if you want to learn how to do service accommodation properly, then I can help you with that. If you want to attend any of my training, I'll teach you how to do rent to service accommodation, purchase to service accommodation, apartments, houses, hotels, whatever you want to learn, I can help you with that. And clearly I'm leading by example because I'm practicing what I preach. So hopefully that was useful, everyone. If you've got any comments, let me know. My team will repost this video on the different platforms, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, because I am down with the kids, right? And so however you can interact with me, crack on, and I will endeavour to answer your questions. So hopefully that was useful. Here's to your success in service accommodation. Remember, your future needs you. And if you want tickets to attend a training course with me, let me know in the comments. Just write tickets, and there might be a link in my bio, or I can reply with, or my team can reply with a link for you to come and get some tickets to attend training with me absolutely free. Take care, everyone, and see you soon.